Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Habitual Line Crosser, and today we have our friend Timo Media again. And this is the thing. I found enough people that were saying negative things in my comment section and how I'm not an expert and I didn't give enough facts that I was like, you know what? Let's get a fresh start. So I found one of Timo Media's pinned videos, and we're going to go into what he's talking about and break it all down with publicly verifiable information on the internet. And we're going to just make sure that he's saying things that are accurate. So let's just go into it. And I want this video to be a little bit shorter because I want to make sure I can post it on TikTok, because it makes no sense if I can't actually tag Timo Media in it.
This is China's supersonic drone, the WZ-8 supersonic drone. So this drone can destroy all American 5th generation fighter jets, all their aircraft carriers. China is smart.
So he's made a bold claim that this drone is capable of destroying all American 5th gen fighters and American aircraft carriers. All right, so a logical standpoint would be, why? What does it bring to the table? Does it have a low visibility radar cross section? Does it have a really good anti-ship missile on board? Does it have lasers? Does it have bombs? Does it, I mean, what is it? I get it, it's fast, but like, what munitions does it carry?
The main reason why America have the biggest military budget.
Okay, so we just stop and then we go on to military budget. So, okay, we'll just go ahead and look into it. So the WZ-8 drone. WZ-8 is a supersonic, hypersonic, remotely operated, high-altitude reconnaissance vehicle. It's a very fast, high camera. It's non-combatant. It doesn't have the ability to carry weapons. It has no hard points. It has no lasers, it has no bombs, it has no bomb bays. It can't even take off under its own power. It has to be launched aerially from a Zhehan H-6M bomber. So it can't even take off from the ground under its own power. And then, of course, because it flies at such high elevations, it has a solid-state rocket motor which produces its own oxygen and can fly in low or no oxygen environments. Okay, so he makes a claim that this very fast camera can destroy jets. Maybe he'll go into it later. Let's continue.
It's because they waste money building unnecessary stuff.
Okay, so I'm going to go on that budget thing real quick. We talk about how we waste money on unnecessary stuff, and I couldn't agree more. So we have this here from U.S. News. I'll go ahead and splash it up here. This comes to aid from the United States. As you see, it's broken down by administrative costs, health and population, agriculture, humanitarian, commodity assistance, infrastructure, other economic growth, education, and governance. And this is how much the United States gives to everybody else in the world. Pretty much every year. It does adjust by a few billion here and there, especially with Ukraine popping off. But as you see, I mean, that's $14 billion in aid annually to sub-Saharan Africa. That is $12.5 billion annually to the Middle East and North Africa. Now this is from 2020, so this is a few years old. South and Central Asia got around 5.5, almost 6 billion. Western Hemisphere got around, which I don't even know what that encompasses, around 3 billion. Europe and Asia got around 2.5 billion, and East Asia and Oceania around 2 billion. So the reason why our budget is so big is because we give more to the rest of the world every year than the rest of the world combined. So let's continue, Timo.
In the 21st century, you waste billions of dollars building aircraft carriers, while the Chinese and the Russians are busy building aircraft carrier destroyers.
Okay, let's go ahead and look into that. Is China building aircraft carriers? China's still on track to build 4 carriers by this year. So they're, again, false statement right there. You're saying they're building aircraft carrier destroyers. They're building aircraft carriers. They built 4 in the year 2022, which is impressive by anybody's standards. But so you're saying that the U.S. is wasting money building carriers, and they're not building carriers, but it says right here they built 4 of them last year, which is impressive to any country.
They will use few $1,000s to build these aircraft carrier destroyers.
You realize, like, the United States has anti-ship missiles. Anti-ship missiles are not new, but let's go ahead and look at the category of American anti-ship missiles. We have the AGM-84H/K SLAM-ER. We have the ASM-N-2 BAT. We have the AUMN-2 Petrel. We have the AUMN-4 Diver. We have the AUMN-6 Puffin. We have the GT-1, the Harpoon, the Joint Strike Missile, the LBD Gargoyle, the AGM-158C LRASM, the MA-31, the Naval Strike Missile, the Pelican, which is actually a bomb, not really an anti-ship missile, and the Project Kingfisher. Now, some of these are still in service, some of these are not necessarily in service, and of course, there are new things coming online. So, again, another statement stating that the U.S. isn't building anti-ship missiles. Here's a list of, what, 10 or 12 of them? Okay, let's continue, Timo.
Now, this is a supersonic drone, and it travels at a speed of 3,700 kilometers per hour.
No, that is also incorrect. Again, we just go back to the wiki. It does not travel at 3,700 miles an hour, or kilometers per hour, which would be Mach 2.9. It actually travels. Its cruising speed is Mach 6 to Mach 7, which makes it fall into the hypersonic category. Remember, anything technically over Mach 5, but around 1.6 kilometers a second or 1 mile per second falls into the hypersonic category. It also flies at 160,000 feet. This thing uses the same kind of defensive mechanisms that the SR-71 did. It was flying very high and very fast. Because if you have something, remember, speed doesn't matter when you're shooting at an air defense system. Speed matters when you're trying to overflight an air defense system, because that missile has to catch up to you and then catch you. That's how it works. So if you're shooting at it, speed doesn't really matter. I mean, to a point it does. But then if you're overflighting something at a really high elevation, with this is saying service ceiling of 160,000 feet, which is pretty impressive, that would matter. So let's continue, Timo.
Which is super fast. So it can intercept any fighter jet on air tier. It can destroy all American 5th generation fighter jets.
Okay, again, you're saying that this very fast, very high speed, high fidelity camera with a radar, it does have a electro-optical imaging and synthetic aperture radar. It does have those, but does not have any munitions. This thing does not have, I mean, could it crash into them? Yeah, probably, but it seems like a pretty big waste of money. So, okay. Still trying to figure out how a camera can kill somebody.
The F-16, the F-35, this drone can intercept it and destroy it.
The F-16 is not a 5th gen American fighter. The F-35 is, so you're right on that point. But the F-16 is a 4th gen.
So, in addition, the Russians also have the K-24.
Okay, I want to be totally upfront with you guys on this. I desperately looked for a K-24, a Ka-24, anything along these lines. And the only thing I was able to find was a Nissan engine, a Ka-24E, which is a 12-valve engine produced from July 1988 through 1997. That is the only Ka-24 in the world that I have found that exists. He could have been something else. He could have been Mi-24, which is a helicopter. He could have meant like 50... which is KH-52 Kinzhal. I don't know what the number is off the top of my head on the Kinzhal. He's making this statement to an object that's not the name of it. I have no idea what he's talking about.
Which is a supersonic missile, which travel at a speed of Mach 8.0.
Missile doesn't exist.
The K-24 can destroy all American aircraft carriers out there.
Again, another bold statement that this missile that doesn't exist can destroy something because he says so. No quantifiable data. You could have at least said because it's faster, because it carries this payload, because it can maneuver. Nothing. There was nothing there to support your claim.
So the main reason why America have the biggest military budget is not because they have the best weapons. It's because they waste billions of dollars and trillions of dollars building things that doesn't make sense in modern warfare.
Building things that don't make sense in modern warfare. That's why everyone else is trying to catch up. That's why China built 4 aircraft carriers in 2022, because they realized how painfully outgunned they were. That's why Russia has spent a lot of money on their nuclear sub-navy, because that is their claim to fame. They think that their sub-navy is going to be able to take on the U.S. Navy. That's why they have more submarines than we do, like a staggering amount more. I'll give credit where credit's due, but that's a bold-faced lie, Timo.
You don't waste billions of dollars building aircraft carriers. In a potential war between China and America, the Chinese will use few $1,000 drone to destroy billions of dollars aircraft carriers.
Look, if you are a foreign country and you're watching Timo Media and you're trying to understand American capability, and you think that it's a good idea to send a few $1,000s worth of drones at an American fleet, especially a carrier fleet, I wish you the best in your future endeavors, but that situation is not going to turn out how you think it is. And what happens after that to you, your country, your family, and your dictatorship is entirely your own fault. I would not take this man's advice, and I would mind my own fucking business and stay away from American fleets. But that's me. That's just doing you a favor and trying to keep you from unaliving spontaneously. Maybe a knife missile. Don't know.
Right? So the main reason why America have the biggest military budget out there.
Okay, you brought up our military budget 3 times. Our budget is the biggest, reminder, because we give more to everybody else in the world than everybody else in the world combined, because it encompasses our humanitarian budget. If the U.S. military was qualified to win the Nobel Peace Prize, they would win it every single year for the amount of humanitarian aid, effort, medical support, governance, and everything we do worldwide every single year.
It's not because they are building some extraordinary weapons. It's because they waste money on unnecessary stuff. Thank you.
The way we would want to sum that up is everything he said was incorrect. I fact-checked everything he said in that video. So that being said, do not give in to the 22 a day. Every single one of you are amazing, and I will see you guys right here next time. Play me out.